I have such fun piecing together a program. And I pieced this program from the beginning to end. And what I love doing is creating some sort of connection to it. And I love picking pieces that are really powerful emotionally. I like to have each work really touch you in some way. It doesn't have to be that, because powerful doesn't mean sad. Power could just mean, okay, this one was filled with passion, this one was happy, and then it's dark, and it's different adjectives. Okay, I don't want to do a Beethoven or Mozart trio. I think I'll start Fauré. He's a powerful French composer, but then if you look into the details of the piece, then you go, wow, this was his only piano trio. Why? He wrote it at the end of his life. He always wanted to write a piano trio, and he retired from the Paris Conservatoire where he taught, but he quit because his health was failing. He lost his hearing. So he created this piece that he never actually heard. And so in the piece, you hear, this restless opening, and you start to go, wow, why does it sound so restless? It's very unsettling sounding. And you try to imagine, he's not hearing a note of this, right? And then the heart of the work is the second movement. So obviously, he's sad about how he feels, and he's getting old, and you just wonder, how many more pieces can I write? And then the third piece, the third movement of it is joyous. So he twisted all that darkness into hope. And then I was missing the second one. So I eventually settled in on, hey, let me break away from the trio of musicians. So I decided I love playing with Ruthie Wild. She's the principal cello in the AZ Phil. And I thought, what a beautiful way if she and I just paired off and did a work together. And that's where I chose Arvo Pärt's Spiegel and Spiegel. And it's for cello and piano. It's originally written for violin and piano. And so that is a entirely different, powerful work. It's basically his homage to a Buddhist thinking of life. At the point, then my second piece at the time was the Rebecca Clark. And so Rebecca Clark, she is this neglected 20th century composer, almost forgotten at one point, because it was still male-centric. And so, but there she was, always hiding in the woodwork. And then she created this piece that's always been sitting there. And you think, wow. And so she almost had it to the point where when she entered that piece in a composition competition, she made up a name, a male name. And then they picked her as the winner. But within the piece itself, the power that comes from it is that she wrote it in 1921. So that's just past World War I. She was devastated by how the Great World War at the time was so technological and brutal, all based on technology, gas, tanks, machine guns, and that really affected her. So you hear this kind of her slight protest to the whole fact that humanity has resulted into a war like that. I end with the Schumann piano quartet, but Schumann, if you look into his own history, he suffered from bipolarism and a manic depression, to the point 10 years after this, he tried to commit suicide. And he wrote this in one of his good phases. And so you hear this youthful excitement, very enthusiastic, to the point where even Clara said, this is the youthful side that I fell in love with him about. Now, out of the whole piece together, the whole program, what's the central theme of every piece? Hope. And then on top of it, I love having fun with things like this, is the last note of the first piece, the Fauré, is the opening note of the Arvo Pärt. The last note of the Arvo Pärt is the opening note of the Rebecca Clark. Last note of Rebecca Clark is opening note of the Schumann. So you have this kind of congealed experience and filled with emotion. And that's what makes this program really exciting. And I hope, I look forward to everyone, participating just by sitting there and going on this journey with me. And I'm lucky enough to perform it twice this year. The first one will be February 17th at Scottsdale's ASU Care Center at 7:30. And the second one is at, obviously, the Ruth Street Theater on February 18th at 3 p.m.